Happy Tuesday. Look at all this. Okay. Who's all in here? Hi, Cordy. Hi, Alice. Hi, Celtic. Hi, GLAM. Hello, ladies. Hello, hello. This is what we're working with, y'all. So many different things. So many different things. Alright. We need to... glitter drawer. Yeah. So, we need to figure out if we just want to make glitter mixes or if we want to do the whole shebang. Do I just want to grab an automatically done glitter? We shall do that. I don't know. Let's see what this gives us, hey? I don't know. Alright. We have so much in here, guys, but I forgot to grab glitter. I was too busy grabbing other shit, so you guys have to let me know what glitters. Anyway, we are doing how to make acrylic powders, your own acrylic powders at home. Everything that you need. Everything that you... We're going to go through different pigments, different things you can use, different glitters, what glitters are the best, your monomer, your powders, your white, your clear. We're going to go through the whole thing. So if you're here for it, come in, chill, hang out. We also have some palettes here. You can use makeup for your pigment as well. But there's a thing with it because, yeah, we'll get into that. But I have my mixing jars over here. I got 6 of them so we can make 6 different colors. I really wanted to mix some pastel colors, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Don't know. Let's see what happens, shall we? Thanks for being here. I love you guys lots, man. Tipsy Tata. That's funny. How's everybody's day? Alright. The only thing I gotta do is clean out my little jar. And we shall get going. And the jar that I'm talking about is my little tiny jar. This one. Because I forgot to do it. How is everybody? So, we're going to make our own acrylics at home. I'm going to show you the ratio of what you conduit with. You can use whatever you want, but if you're going to experiment, great, as long as you're keeping it at home with yourself. One thing to note, that if you plan on selling these or sending them to people, please make sure you do your research and you don't just put a bunch of craft stuff into your acrylics, guys, because they are made absolutely different. Understood? Understood. So, alright. Is everybody ready? Alright, does that look good? Can you all see good? So I am using Young Nails monomer. This is a very universal monomer. Can I talk today? No. And your girl put these upside down. Good, nice. Alright, I cut these little sheets so that way we could use them for swatching. And I put these backwards like a goofball. Hi, Cola. Alright, so look, we have these little guys too. We also have the chrome nail powder. So chromes, all that is going to be different than just your regular mica powder. It's also going to be different than any of your fluorescent type powders. Your neon powders are made different. Okay. The pigments are made different. These are matte versus these are not. Micas have that little pearly sheen. So yeah, these are natural. They're called natural pigments, but they're fluorescent. You have glow pigments. You have all kinds of different types. And I got this little guy right here. Just these little baggies of mica powder for soap and for cosmetics. I got this off Amazon. And I did double check to make sure that it was non-toxic and made to use for soaps, cosmetics, eyeshadows, lip gloss, you name it, all the things. So you always have to make sure you double check that, guys. And I also have... These are my jars, so I get these off Amazon. They're the best freaking jars to get. And these jars are not. Like I showed you guys last time, these little jars here are not for acrylics, okay? Just because they send you a lot doesn't mean they're great for powders. These ones are double-lined acrylic jars. They are top-notch jars that you can find on Amazon. You can also find these ones as well. I got these at Hobby Lobby. These ones are 1 ounce, 2 ounce, and they have the little thing in it. This one broke, but hopefully it still works. So those are my jazz. We have the Morphe palette. We have a couple different palettes because I was trying to figure out. I want to show you guys because we want a couple matte colors, and I want to kind of do a versatile test, and this has these ones and these ones, so it's going to be a little bit different because pressed pigments like this are different because they are made with oils, so always remember that. But you can still experiment with them, just don't send them out to people, okay? Don't send them out to people. Hi Nana, hi Sherry, hi. Stretch pants. How about, so I have all of these Urban Decay. She used to be my favorite influencer, beauty influencer for makeup, because I used to be in the makeup, guys, if you can, I don't know if you know that, but these are no longer available. You cannot get these. They were stupid expensive, and so I thought about using this right here because it's a solid black matte, and I need a black, so I figured we could do this. Hi, Black Cat. So I figured we could use at least this one right here. They're all really pretty colors and would make great for, because we have a little bit of a ghost pigment here. These are really pretty. It has sparkles in it. So, yeah, it's really pretty. Yeah. And then we have this one. Honestly, I was just looking for, like, matte pigment, to be honest with you guys. Because matte pigment is where you're going to get your good amount of whatever. But I thought these would good cover pigments. These are really good cover pigments if you want to make them. And this is all you have. Go for it. Because your top notch is going to be your best quality pigments. But even these little LA Color ones, you may have to use a little bit more pigment just because it's lower grade pigment, if that makes sense. But it'll still work, if that makes sense. So, we got that one. We have this one that I thought was really nice. This is a Morphe palette. Mind you, all these are brand new. Never used. Nothing. They've just been sitting here, okay? Literally just been sitting here. We have this one, which is really pretty. Look at those colors. That black right there is pretty too. These are all really pretty colors, especially for like a fall time. But yeah. And then I grabbed this one because this one also has a black in it. Look how beautiful that one is. Whoa. But this has a black in it. I might use this one instead of my Kristen Leanne, but Yeah, so these are really hard to get, okay? And they were very expensive when I got them. And I'm like, I'm not using them. I gotta at least use them. I'm like, oh, I could sell these. You know, I could, like, whatever, since they're brand new, never been used or opened. I mean, look, this one's still in the package, y'all. What is this one? I think this is, like, contour or some shit. Highlight palette. So, yeah. Hey. So what do you guys think? You think, yeah, I'm definitely going to use that black for sure. So that way we can create a cool ass black without having mica in it. Because mica is the pearly thing. And we want a matte type of thing. So, if you want though, here's the thing. You're going to want a bit of white, and you do the ratio for any type of acrylic is you're going to do 3 parts acrylic to 1 part of your color. But you could also eyeball it depending on how much you're making too. So it all just depends on how much you're making, what you're making, all of the things, right? So keep that in mind, everybody. All right. Everybody ready? So we can set these up now if we want, or we can go one by one. Really doesn't matter to me, but I think, look at this color. I think this color is going to be beautiful, guys. Like, what if we did this? We added some of these in here with these, and could give us that nice, beautiful, like, look. And we could also add this one in there too. This one's like a purpley blue-ish. Look at that blue. Just to have a whole ass one like that. Ooh, girl. Like, I think we should either do these two together just so we have like that momentum. And we add like a little bit of this one, because this chrome is going to be different than your pigments, guys. Chrome is a lot more pigmented than your actual pigments over here. Very different. So you need a less of this than you do of like this type of mica powder, because mica powder like this brand here isn't the best, so you have to use a lot of this to get it really dark. But these, you'd only need like a pinch or two. That's it for those. All right, so if you want it lighter, then you want to add your white, of course. But if you want it to be like opaque, add a little bit of white to give it that nice structure on the inside of your custom acrylic. So whether you're working with mica powder, regular pigments, you know, you're going to have to kind of experiment a little bit. But I got, right, hear me out. I got my acrylic. I got these jars right here, my acrylic, these jars, and this little box for under $50. It was like 42 something. And this right here is probably going to be your best friend when it comes to making at least colors. They do have a few that you could make like cover colors with, and like obviously if you have the color wheel as well, you can use a little bit of red, a little bit of brown, which a little bit of pink and some white, and that'll kind of give you a nice pink cover color, which is like a tan pink cover color. Anyway, what do we want to do? Do we want to make the, because I'm going to show you the process as I go, right? So do we want to do a black one, and do we want to, so we'll do the black one so I can show you what to do with these. And then do you guys want to make this one right here with this? Oh, look, we could even throw that one in there too to give us like a teal purple color. What you think? We could do this one. It'd be really pretty. So we'll kind of do a little bit of everything so you guys can see a bit of a difference on just regular glitter versus whatever. Does that make sense? I will definitely link the jars, because you can get the jars in a 12 pack, 24 pack, or a 48 pack. The 48 pack is only $25, which is going to be your best bet for these jars. And you can get these jars in silver, gold, or rose gold. The difference with these are the double-lined acrylic jars that are sealed. So these do not leak at all. Most of you can contest too, or not contest, but like know that these do not leak. I use these for everything. I think 20 grams is in between your like 1 ounce. I think 1 ounce is a little bit too much if you're not a brand and you're just kind of selling colors here and there. I think a 20 ounce is just enough, guys, especially if you're not using it all the time. 20 ounce is going to be your best friend, so you have just enough, right, but not too much. So that's where I stand on these jars. It is nighttime over there for them. Gnats? What? I see your comments. I see your comments. I'll definitely link them, my lovely. Alrighty, let me grab my white. And I'm also using white from Young Nails, because that's the one that I got. It's regular core white, not speed white. You don't want speed white or clear if you are just starting out, guys, okay? Oh no, I got a hair. You want to make sure you wear gloves. Gloves, guys, okay? Gloves, everybody, gloves. Gloves, gloves, gloves. Alright, hold up. I gotta get my little thingy-majigger out. My other one. So we'll swatch them too as we go, but I'll show you how to do it. What to use and all that. So we're going to use a tiny spoon for... You're going to use one of these little tiny spoons to measure your amount of pigment that you're going to put in. And then... when you are using it, I use these little spoons here for my glitter. These are perfect for your glitter as well as these jars. Doesn't get everywhere, which is great. So you're gonna have a half of a. This is a half a tablespoon, but you can do a 1 teaspoon as well, and that'll be the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and put 3 parts of clear in this one. Okay, so we're going to do 3 parts clear, guys. And you want to make sure that your powder is EMA, guys. Alright? We're going to go 1, 2, a 3. So what I typically like to do, though, because you're going to adjust as you go, right? You're going to adjust your powders as you go all the time. You can... always add, but you can never take out. So do little bits at a time. This one right here is the same one Nelly used in her live the other day. Which is, oh my gosh, what is that called? I did a main deep dive on this one too, and it's really good acrylic, especially for mixing. But if you want to get Young Nails, just because Young Nails is a good universal powder, you know what I mean? That one's always a good one too. Alright, so we have that guy there. So we're going to keep that guy there, depending on what we want to do. So normally when you have these jars, right? So normally when you have these jars, what I like to do is, because I already know the ratio I need inside these jars, it already has a seal up inside here, and then it's double lined on the inside of the lid too. It's kind of hard to see, I know, but I'm telling you, they do not at all by any means leak, and I absolutely love them. And here is what the silver ones look like. So the best ones I found, if you want a clear bottom, I suggest doing a clear bottom. You can always get the ones that are not clear, that are the like colored ones that come with the little cap like this one on the inside. However, you can't find these ones on Amazon. You have to go to like AliExpress to get other jars, but the ones like this are on Amazon. And so, yes, these ones are on Amazon. And you can get a pack of 12 for $7.99, and you can get a pack of 24 for 12 something, and then you can get a pack of 48 for 24. And then you can also get a pack of a double pack, I think, is like 36. And these ones you can get from Beautycom or Pana are the two places that have these. So it just depends, and they are different. They will ship out different and all that. So just be aware of that. But for this one, I know it takes 6 of these spoonfuls to fill to this rim. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to pre-measure basically these out when I'm mixing like this. If I just free mix, I'm going to have extra. So when you're at home and you don't really have the excess money, and you also don't want to be wasting your acrylic, right? Always pre-measure, and it'll help you out even when you're experimenting, guys. So obviously this is one that we're going to be mixing in. So I use 3 scoops, right? This takes 6 of these, right? So I know if I'm going to use this instead of, if I'm going to use that spoon instead of this guy, I think it takes 3. So let's see. Yep. What I like to do is you want to make sure you're filling it to this line here on the side. This little rim right here. So it gives you enough room to shake and stir and for your color to fully immerse with the acrylic. Okay? Depending on what you're using. But this is a lot in here. Alright, so basically, I like to go to this point here, this little lip right here, or you can go up to this one right here on the side. Make sense? Okay, so 3 of the half of a tablespoons is a little bit more than what we want, so I'm actually going to just pour the rest of that inside there. Now that I know what I want, we're going to pour this in here, and then you're going to mix. And so you can now that you guys know the ratio to whatever jars you're using, when you go to mix, you already just basically know, hey, 3 of these are going to get me this much, right? So write it down in your book so that way you always know. I mean, hell, you could just, I eyeballed it for like, I don't even know how long. I eyeballed it for a long time before I really was able to get down like main ratios. So this one's just clear. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to do 1 at a time, and then we'll go from there. How's that sound? Because if we go 1 at a time, then I think we're going to be good as far as how much we need in the jar, right? Are you guys ready? No worries. Hi, Nelly. Hi, Karina. Hi, everybody. Alright, shout out to everybody in here. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Alright, does that look okay? Can you see good? Let me know, guys. Does it look good? Alright, do we want to do this one first? Or do we want to do the black first? What do you guys want to do? Because we're going to do the chrome. We're going to do the eyeshadow. Okay, we're going to do a matte eyeshadow, and I'm going to show you the difference between those. And then we're going to do a glitter one. We're going to do one with pigment glitter and the chrome, so you guys can get the difference and the feeling of a chunky glitter versus a just a fine glitter. So those are the roundabout ones that we are going to do today, so that way I can show you, you know, the exact tips and tricks on how to be able to make it right the first time, and that way you don't have to keep going back in and wasting your acrylic or not having enough of your acrylic. Because let's face it, once you put it in there, you can always add, but you can't take away. So little bits by little bits, get you a little tiny spoon like so. Get you one of these little spoons right here. They're everywhere. You can get them at Hobby Lobby, Dollar Tree. I love these spoons. They are my fave. I've been using them for years and years, ever since I started. They're perfect. And then you also, guys, if you're mixing pigments, like an eyeshadow pigment or a neon fluorescent type of pigment, because those pigments are different. So these pigments right here are the matte pigments, but these ones are made a little bit differently. So these pigments right here, you're going to need a lot more. You're going to have to do a lot more with these pigments than you were with anything else besides shadow. Just because of the makeup of the pigment. This is called natural pigment because it's matte. The mica and the chrome is not called natural because there are, you know, other things in there to not make them the color that they are. Or, you know, to turn it to color that it is, if that makes sense. So, I'm going to show you that, but we're going to use this. So, you guys will have to let me know what color you want me to use. And glow pigment is going to be different too. Glow pigment is glow pigment. It's gritty, and it's just like your acrylic. Your acrylic and your glow pigment have the same, basically, consistency of the powder, I guess, if you will, the granules that are in it. It's the same type of granules. It's just a different type of chemical and molecule that makes it what it is, right? So always be aware of that. But your glow pigments are going to either turn it a different color, or it'll just glow whatever white color it is, right? So you can mix white with anything. But if it's a colored one, it will color your powder, right? So everything that I got is literally, it was like $42 and something, depending on where you're at, obviously. And then you have your taxes, but I get free shipping because of Prime, so. But let me know. Ask questions, please. Ask questions. If you need, people will help. And then if you need me to actually see the, whatchamacallit, the chat, then. So this is our #1 tutorial into all things custom acrylics at home, baby. So you can save some moolah. Just like Nelly did on hers on Sunday. She did an amazing job. Made a full collection, guys. So if you want one of hers, reach out to her via DM. And also make sure you subscribe to her as well. Just go watch that live because it was great. Alright, so let's make this one first. And then we'll go through all of the other ones. So we're going to make this one. And then we're going to do the black one. And then I'm going to show you what we need for this one as well. Let me grab my little thingamajigger. Alright, so you're going to want one of these guys here. This is a tobacco grinder, which is perfect for all of your little mini jars that you want to create, guys. So you're going to want one of these. I have to go get batteries. So bear with me, everybody, because I need to go get AAAs. Can we start doing nails with those set from Amazon? What set from Amazon? I'm not doing nails. I'm making acrylics. I'm showing you how to make your own acrylics at home with multiple different types of pigments, glitters, all the things, so you guys can save money and make them at home if you don't have a color. Because let's face it, we all can't go out and get every single color that we want. But that way, this is like your #1 guide to all of the things, you know. So I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much. Shout out to everybody here. Let me go grab these batteries real quick, and then I will be right back. So talk amongst yourselves. Get your questions ready. Alright, I'm back. Alright, guys. Alright. I'm going to take these out. Because one thing you're going to want to do, especially if you're mixing pigments, guys. Alright? Oh, shit. Especially if you're mixing, like, eyeshadow pigments. The best thing to do is to use a grinder or a, what is that, pestle, a mortar and pestle. Okay, let's see if this works. Alright, hold up, y'all. Let's see if I put this in right. Oh no! Alright, might not be able to show you that one because she not working. Shit. Alright, well that one's not gonna work. I have two of them and I don't know where my other one went at the current time and moment, but just make sure you get one. They are going to be your best friend when it comes to mixing a lot of these pigments the right way so they're fully mixed. Alright, give me one sec. I have another one. I have two of them. Okay, we're just not going to worry about that, I guess. Alright, let's freaking do this, guys. Ready? Alright, let's do this, guys. So, when you go to mix your chrome... Oh, no. Okay, when you go to mix your chrome, right? Depending on how big your jar is, we know how much acrylic we have and what we need, right? So this guy is really, really stunning. Like, stunning. So, we're going to take 2 of these, which I'm just going to put this whole thing in here because there's not that much in here. Yeah, be careful because it's going to get messy, y'all. That's the fun of it, though. And if you have a lot of these around and you don't really see yourself using it a lot, it's really fun to be able to mix your own stuff. Oh, that is beautiful color, guys. And then, let's add some flakies in there. Ooh, that's going to be pretty. We're going to do about 2 of those, so it doesn't fully take over everything. Those flakies go everywhere. Alright, so... don't do that either. A lot of the times with these certain types of flakies and colors, they go up your nose, okay? They fly up your freaking nose, alright? Literally. So at first, I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to just kind of get out those little, because with chromes and stuff, you have little micro particles of it being stuck together. But once you get it nicely done and it's mixed well, it's going to adhere to your acrylic, okay, guys? It's going to adhere to that acrylic really well, really nicely. So when you don't see any more of those, then you can stop kind of like mixing it with your spoon and shake it really good, and that will also break up any of those that you may have. So just always, you know, keep that in mind when you are mixing with like chrome powders and stuff like that, because those little tiny, you know, most of them are gone, but you still kind of see a little bit of them. So I pretty much got a lot of them out with the spoon as I'm mixing it. With the bottom of the spoon, pretty much, you know, because they fall apart really, really nicely, really easily. So this one's more of a sparkle chrome. So you're not really going to see that color too much until you get it on the nail. So at this point in time, you can either go ahead and test it now, then add this color here, right? Or you can just use it now if you want. So my thing is I always like to test stuff before I add to it. That way I can kind of know what I'm getting myself into. And then that way you will know whether or not, okay, I need to add this or I don't need to add this. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and test her out really quickly. That way we know what we want. So let's move these out. And I'm going to use a smaller brush. So got my swatch sticks ready. And you can do it on the paper towel. However, I suggest doing it on swatch sticks because you're not really going to know what you can't really see it on the paper towel, right? It only gives you a certain amount of stuff, so I'm going to zoom you guys in. How's that look, y'all? Does that look all right? All right, we're going to wet the swatch stick. Wetting the swatch stick helps it allow it to do what we need it to do. Ooh. Okay, so this one's going to be more of like a clear with a chrome blue finish on it. And you're going to know if you have enough powder versus pigment, because it's not going to really form into a ball, if that makes sense, if you don't have enough. But if you have too much pigment, it's not going to form like it did on my brush. Does that make sense? It's going to just kind of go like pigment-wise. That is actually really pretty, and I don't think I want to add that other color in here. Can you see it? Look at that. It looks blue, but it's purple and green. It's really, really nice. Look at that bead form. Nothing, like, obviously you're going to have, it's pigment, guys. You will have pigment on your brush, but it's not sticking in my brush. And it's not, like, going everywhere. So your ratio is going to be basically perfect, if that makes sense. Because we already knew how much we needed for our jar. Look at that. The ratio is perfect, so I think we are good. We have just the right amount of that. Hi, Lorna. Did everybody leave me? I swear it's not supposed to, it's not boring, guys. Now, you can always add more clear acrylic in this if you want, and you can always add white into this to make it a little bit more of that opaque color if you want, but I basically always use clear for the most part. Don't usually use white, but I like the see-through look. That is actually stunning, so I don't think I'm going to add anything else to it. I really like this a lot. It's actually very beautiful. Works perfectly. And it's nice to work with too. It's kind of hot in my room, but it's working beautifully. And we have just the right amount of that color popping through. So you won't notice anything until you actually put that top coat on there. But that blue is like a milky shift to it, and I actually like that a lot. So we're keeping that one. I almost want to put some of that in there just to see what it would do, but then again, I don't want to lose what I got going on here with that milky opal vibe. It's almost like an opal vibe. No worries. Be careful. Is everybody here? Everybody good? Aw, thanks for tickling all the buttons. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Alright, let's go ahead and put this bad baby into her jar. Now, once you get the color in here, you can always mix it inside of your jar too. But I'm actually going to mix it a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take this guy. And you're going to take it, bounce it like this. And just keep mixing it, okay? And then that'll break up any extra particles of that chrome powder that you have that's still in there. Listen, I'm not trying to be boring, guys. I'm just trying to give you the 101 on all types of different things that you need. Obviously, everybody's going to have to experiment as well, you know, so that way you can kind of, you know, get down that. And there's also, okay, I'm not going to pour that in there like that. There's also a difference, too, in your acrylics. There is a dip and acrylic mix of a powder. There is just a regular acrylic powder. And there's just dipping powder, okay? It is acrylic. It's just a little bit different, right? And so the difference between your acrylic, right? Regular core acrylic is, what it is the granules that are inside the acrylic, right? Are thicker. Okay? So they're more like a crystal type of structure. So when you have that type of structure, that's going to be your focus. That's why they call it core acrylic, okay? Because that, your clear is going to be your strength powder, okay? That's where all that comes from. Your core and the molecular structure that is of the clear that you use, which is always going to be your strength powder, or your cover powders are going to be your strength cover or your strength powders that you can build on and you can file with, right? All right, we have our first one done. You guys, we need to name her. Don't know what we want to name her, but we need to name her. All right, so we did chrome. Okay, so this is what she looks like. This is like a milky opal. If you put it over black, you can really see just how blue that is. But then when you take it away, you can really see like the green. It almost makes me want to add this other one to it, which is, I have another one, and I don't think I used it all either. But it's a VARNAIL one, just like that one, but it's the pink version. And I may have used it already. I don't think I did, but I may have. So, no big deal though. Alright, but I can't put the other one in there because I don't know where it's at. Never mind. So, you see this one. Wonder if we added both in there. I think this would take over. This one would so take over the pigment. Because I thought if I added both, we'd get that blue / pink. What do you guys think? Should we go bold? Should we go bold with this and add just a tibby bit of this pink? I think I want the blue to kind of overtake it versus the pink. But I kind of want to see both of those colors. Or should we keep it the way it is? What do you think? So we have Opal Dream. Or we can add a little bit of that just to give us that nice vibrant color. It does look like Elsa, doesn't it? What you think? Should we do that or no? Go big or go home. Hi, Ivy. All right, we're just gonna add one, and I'm talking a half of one of these, okay? Just a half, just to give us like a slight little, because with this blue one, the blue one was a little bit different. This has a brown base to it. So it's different than what this one is. You know what I mean? So that brown base is going to make it a little bit darker. So we want to be careful with giving it that. So we're just going to go just, I mean, the tiniest amount. That's it. We don't need a lot because it's chrome. Try dark blue in separate jar. Too late. We put it in there now. Alright. I'm going to, it may not even, it may just be a super like subtle look. So I'm just going to go ahead and shake this and see what that's going to give us. With more of that blue in there, which I feel like would override it as much more. But I kind of wanted to see both of those colors, so. I can see a little bit of that color. Not much, though. Let me see. And I don't have my light on. Like, I don't have my flash on. Flash is going to be your best friend when you guys are swatching. I don't have my flash on, but let's see what this does for us here. Okay, it's still the same. Just a tad bit of like a pinky effect. Let me spread it out so we can kind of see here. So it really didn't affect it all that much. So I think I'm just going to give it a little tiny boost, and then if it don't show up, because it might, let's do, because I don't want it to overpower it, so let's go about that. And then if it doesn't show up again, then we're in the clear, and it's all good in the hood. All right, that should give us what we want. It's also, when you're mixing, it's all about experimenting too. I just realized the rest of your comment, Kels. Hi, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe. I do this because once it's hitting my hand like that, it kind of jerks it in this. So if you're just doing this, look at this, guys. If you're just doing this like this, do you realize this is not doing anything, right? This right here is not doing anything. It's going to come out clumpy. It's not going to be mixed fully. So keep that in mind, guys, when you're mixing stuff with like different pigments and stuff. And mind you, I'm going to tell you right now, I am not the person to use chalk. I do not use chalk. You're going to get like super high-end pigments with me. And that made it darker, though. That definitely made it darker, but it's still on the blue side. So I think that's kind of crazy. It kind of, how do you want to say that? Like, canceled it out a little bit. But it's still got that blue. Oh, we have a little bit of a pink shift in there. So we're going to leave it like that. Yeah, we're going to leave it like that. It's going to be pretty. It's got a little bit of more of a purple hue to it. So we're going to leave that there. And I like blue opal. No worries. Alright, so that is how you basically judge your chrome powders, guys. And I've done it where I've dumped all of my chrome in there. I've literally done that. If you go back and look, I've dumped a whole thing of chrome into one just to see what it would do, and it was fine. You just have to know what type of things to look out for, which is it picking up on my brush, or is it just literally sticking to the bristles? If it's picking up in a bead, you're perfect. If it's sticking to your bristles and only forming half of a bead, then you need more acrylic. You need to add more acrylic. All right, so there's our first one, y'all. Let's do our second one. So this one, it is Frozen vibes, right? So, all right, I'm going to set that guy over there. All right, so let's go ahead and get our... One thing I do want to do is kind of make a pastel, too. All the rest of these are micas, except for the eyeshadow and the fluorescent powders. Excuse me. All right, so we did those. So now that we did that, we're going to go ahead and get this. We're going to move this guy out of our way here. And we're going to go ahead and take our next one, and we are going to, like I said, we're going to do 3 scoops of our clear. Or I'm going to do 2 scoops of my clear. So since we're doing the eyeshadow one, we're going to see how this one goes. So I'm going to do the eyeshadow one last, because that one is going to be the hardest. Yay! No worries. Thanks, love. So we're going to go 1, 2. And then if you want it more opaque, so whatever color you're using, right? If you want it more opaque, you're going to add your white to it. All right, so we're going to do 2 of those. We're going to do 2 clear, and we're going to do 1, or we'll do like a half of a white. Okay, so this one, and when you use white, you use that to lighten it, and you also use white to give it a little bit more of opaqueness, depending on what you're making it with. If it's something matte, matte is going to be your friend. So I'm actually going to do a half a scoop of white. Does this make sense, everybody? Is this making sense at all? So I'm going to do a half of white. Okay. Now that's if you want it to make it lighter or more pigmented, or like more opaque, I guess. A lot of times, if you have a mica powder where you have to keep adding the color to really get that like dark pigmented color, then you add white, and it will help with the pigment color. It'll help it be more opaque. All right, so next one. What do we want to do? Do we want to do the we want to do the pigment and the glitter, or do we want to do glow powder? What you all want to do? Yay! Ice Ice Baby. That's a good one. That is a good one. So with your glitter one, it's going to be different. So let's do pigment and glitter. Okay, let's just, for example, let's do pigment and glitter. This one I added white in, so it's going to be a little bit different. Okay, you want to do glow powder? We can do glow powder. Let's see, what color do I have? You want to do a pink, a yellow, a blue, or a green? These are the best glow powders. My favorite. Which one do you want to do? Like a bright yellow, or a nice pink, or a blue? What colors? Blue? Shout out to everybody here. Pink? Uh-oh. Who else? You better put your things in here. I thought this was going to be great for everybody. And I hope that it helps other people, you know, after the fact as well. Because there's so many different ways to do it. And if I'm being confusing, let me know. So we have blue and pink on the table. Anybody else? Anybody else? Oh, okay. We need a third tie. Anybody else? Hi, honeybee. Green. Pink for Cola because she's working and can't comment. We have 2 pinks and 2 blues. We need one more tiebreaker, guys. And you have to... I also put white in here. Okay, so we're going to do blue. So I also put white in here. So the granules with glow powder, like I said, are a bit like regular core acrylic powder. They're going to be a lot on the more grainy side versus dip powders, like very finely milled. And if you've ever seen dip powder, it's super finely milled that it like sticks to your glove. How are you? All right, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour this in. Just because it's in a bag, I'm just going to pour this in and eyeball it. But technically, you want to eyeball it. Depending on how big your jar is and how much you know what's going to go in your jar. We're going to do this and then we're going to shake it, give it what we want, and then go from there. So, depending on how good your glow powder is, if it's finely milled or if it's grainy glow powder, it's going to be a little bit different too. So honestly, your best bet with glow powders is to get the kind that you need to make sure you're going into that description. And with glow powders and clear, you have to make sure you're putting enough of that color in there. So when you go to put it on the swatch stick, it's not like speckly and doesn't have streaks in it. So you have to really shake it good, really mix it up really, really good with glow powder. And depending on how, you know, how dark you want it, how light you want it. We actually put white in here. So we're going to see how good that's going to be with this white in here. Because I've never done it with white. So we are experimenting too. Yeah, we're going to add glitters to it. Let me get the glow portion properly done, and then we'll add some glitter to it. What type of glitter do we want, guys? We want just a mix of hollow and a bunch of different types of glitters, so we can make it a chunky and a glow in a pigment one, or okay, you see how light it is? Just because it's light doesn't mean anything. It doesn't get you're not going to see your actual color, so don't think that this is going to be the color that it is, because it's not. The monomer is going to change the color of the powder. Always remember that. Yes, you mix each part separately, because you don't have to. You can mix it however you want. But I do one thing at a time, so that way, because you can always add, but you can't take away. So once you mess it up, you mess it up. And then you got to either restart over or go with what you got. Right? So that's why I will go in different, you know what I mean, layers. I'm just going to add this a little bit. But if you want more of your glitters to kind of show up instead of that color, right? You want more of the glitter to show up over the glow color, then don't add so much glow at first. Because the more you add the glow, the more it's going to be like a milky consistency over your glitters. If you like that, cool. You know what I mean? Not all the time, and it also depends on what pigments you use, what glow pigments you use, and all of that. Because not everything's created equal, like I've always said, and not powder's created equal. Not every powder's going to go with every pigment. Not every pigment's going to go with every powder, and so on. So it's kind of all about experimenting, but kind of knowing. If you have a little bit of knowledge before going and starting, I feel like it's going to be a little bit better. See how much more darker that is now? So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of our hollow, and I have this that's kind of more of like an aqua color of a hollow. Or I have this. Ooh, that one's pretty. Look at that. Let's add that one. That one's pretty. So we're going to add some fine hollow. And this hollow is actually like a chrome, extra fine chrome glitter mix. Okay, so we're going to add 1, 2. You see the spoon I'm using? I'm not just going in with this huge spoon and just going psh. The only time you use this guy is when you're really mixing like huge, thick glitters, kind of like how Nelly did on her live. That's when I use that spoon. Hi! So we have this beautiful holographic. So let's go ahead and just kind of... Now for every... So we know that we need about 3/2 of tablespoon of your clear, and we also have white in here to kind of lighten but brighten the color, right? So we're gonna see just how good this works with your white, okay? Because it's gonna make it a lot more opaque and less see-through, but we're gonna see how we like that. And depending on how we like it, if you don't really like it with the white in there, I typically have always just used clear. There's only a specific amount of times that I've ever actually used white, like I did today. So if we don't like it, I'll just dull it out with more clear. Not a big deal, but we don't want to go too far over what our jar is, because we want to make sure that it's mixing perfectly. But I'm telling you right now, if you get these jars right here, these 20-gram jars, and you fill it to this line right here, or this secondary line right here, you either do it to this rim or you do it to this one. Then you add 2 of your glitters on top, depending on if it's a pigment glitter or a chunky glitter. If it's a chunky glitter, make sure, put your glitter, if it fills the top of it, you're good to go. You don't need to add any more, because it's a chunky glitter. So you still want to make sure you give it that room to where it can correlate really well and mix in really well with your acrylic powder, and it's able, and that color's able to really grab and hold on to that acrylic powder, like the molecule of the acrylic powder. So always keep that in mind too, which I'm going to show you that. But let's see what this gives us, and then we'll decide if we want to add a little bit more, right? So let's go ahead and get our swatch stick and see what this gives us. And if you guys want me to add a little bit more chunky into this, we can add that too. Totally up to you guys. We'll see what it looks like and then go from there. But you can seriously do this at home, and you can also free ball it. I call it free balling, which is what I've always typically done, if you want to. You know, you don't have to have strategic ways. That's a pretty blue. Ooh. Let's see. Okay. So, I hope I'm going to be able to show this to you. So, we can kind of see through this still. So, let me kind of... Okay. So, what you're seeing right now is that glitter. Okay, so we're going to pull this guy down, and I'm going to, like, fully expand this bead so you can kind of see through it. Now, we did that white. When you go to put it on the nail, you're not necessarily really going to be able to see, but you can kind of see where there's patches of more blue of that color. So, I'm actually... Because we even though we added that white in there, you can still see through it, right? So I'm actually just going to add a bit more of this blue to give us more of that color range, because we want it to be non-see-through. So I'm actually going to add the rest of this blue in here, because we have enough powder in there per color. Per color capita. There's plenty of color, there's plenty of acrylic powder in there for our color to grab onto. So we're going to go ahead and mix this up really quickly, and we are going to shake this bad boy as best we can here. Because what you don't want is an uneven amount to where when you do go to use it on your hand, or on your hand, when you go to, you know, swatch it or make a nail set with it, you don't want it to be super duper patchy and then it look funky because color is not actually. So I'm actually going to do this quite a lot because with your glow powders and your like shimmer shadows and stuff like that, you really want to mix them well. But you don't have to have white unless you're doing like a natural color, like a cover color. You know what I'm saying? That's where you're going to want your white, is if you're using like cover colors, like a cover pink, a cover orange. That's where you really want your white to give you that structure, but also the opaqueness of that color that you want. Because covers are mainly like lighter, if you think about it. So I typically don't use a lot of it. This is the first time I've actually put it inside here, just to see what it would give us here. Okay, she looks pretty good. Now, when you go to mix it like this and just kind of move it around, and you'll be able to see if you have white and where it hasn't formulated or stuck to the powder yet. Does that make sense? You'll be able to see it. If it's not stuck to it, just shake it again. So that way you get a really nice, even mix. Because, like I tell everybody, make sure you stir and mix your powders before you put it on your hand. Nice. It's formulating into a bead really nicely, which is great. There we go. Look how much more. And now I can't see through it. Do you see the difference here? So that's why I say add a little bit at a time, guys, because it's going to be your best friend when you add a little bit at a time. It's really, really hot in my room, so it's kind of drying. It's drying, but I'm still able to maneuver it, you know? So I do like that better. But I feel like, so you're going to see that. How do I explain that? You're going to see those little particles in there, and it's going to almost look like bubbles or rain droplets in here. Okay? It's a bit different than what a normal one would be, but that's because it's also a glitter, so it's a little bit different. But you don't want it to be like, I like that color, but I feel like it needs a little bit more. I don't know what that is. No worries. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like that? Or should we add a little? So I'm actually going to use this as our pigment. I was going to add this guy here. Look at this. But that's not the right blue. So that's not the right blue. Alright, so now that I have that, I'm actually going to make this into, because if you ever have a color like this, that's kind of like see-through-ish, you can always put your other glitters in, and your other glitters are going to act as your best friend, basically, when it comes to that type of stuff. We don't have a darker blue. Let's see what we got. We have this guy, but that'll give us some silver in there. What do we want to put in there? We have some of this we can put in there. We have some of this we can put in there. You guys want to keep it fine, or do you want to add chunky glitters in there too? Hi! We are making custom acrylics today. I'm showing you how to make a couple different custom acrylics with what you have at home. Eyeshadow, pigments, glows, glitter, all the things. Add some chunky, okay. So what kind of chunky do we want to go for? We have this chunky one. It's purple, but it would go really pretty with that blue. We can use the blue as our like, you know, like our little base that we got going on. What you think? And do we want like a cool chunky? Trying to think. We have this one. Now these ones right here are a bit different, guys, because this is craft glitter. So this glitter right here is not going to work. And what it's going to do is the monomer is going to pull that cover or that color off that glitter. Does that make sense? We have this guy here. You want a hollow one or you want the hollow one? That'll look cool. Or do you like this one? Or the purple? This one is iridescent. Oh, this is not. This is just shapes. Now, this is where you can... Here's a, like, purpley blue one. This one's kind of like... These are the same colors that Nelly used on her live. Yes, the hollow one. Okay. We can still go with that. And I also have a lighter one as well. So you can also add your iridescent in here. You can add all kinds of different types of size glitter in here too. So I'm actually gonna add... Nope, where'd it go? So we have a little bit of this guy here, which will go pretty. So let's add a little bit of that iridescent into it. Now, I'm not showing you in the jar, but I will show you. We'll make another one. Let's add a little bit of this. Just a little bit. So this is a chunky and a fine. We good? It shouldn't, no. It should just glow from around it, but let's just do a little bit of that just to give us a little more of that hollow. And then that should be good. Like I said, when you're using a smaller jar, do a little bit at a time, guys. Now, typically, it doesn't have to go this far. You can just throw it in and go, okay? So if you didn't know anything and you're coming into this as a complete beginner and you just want to have fun and you just want to mix and you don't know ratios, it's not a big deal at all. See, you can't, there's such a little amount in there that it's not that, you know what I mean, not that big of a deal. If we need to add some, we can. So I'm going to just grab a little bit more of that guy. So what you want to, I'll show you a super chunky one. This is with glow powder, pigment, and glitter. I'll show you another one with chunky glitter while we do it in here, just in case this is all you have to mix with. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this guy swatched and let's see how we like it. I think it's gonna be cool. I definitely think it's gonna be pretty for sure. Alright, let's test it on this guy, and then if we want to do another swatch stick, we can. Okay, do you see the difference when you're pulling up that glitter? So the glitter kind of acts as a good, nice, like, barrier when you're using any type of glows and stuff. Now, you have that nice... Not only is it going to glow, but it's going to look really nice because that glitter is going to give you that kind of stand-in effect here, where, because we didn't put a lot in there, so it's not going to be too much, where you can still see it, but it's also not see-through, and it's still going to glow really nicely. And the beads are picking up really nicely, so that's good too. See how the bead is still on one side? It's polymerizing really nicely. So we're going to go ahead. Oh, yeah. And you can also tell that you have a good amount of powder ratio to glitter to pigment when you can still work with it super nice and it's not sticking to your brush. Okay, otherwise it would be sticking in your brush like, oops, shit, little lines, if that makes sense. So it's actually working really, really nice and perfect. That's actually really pretty. It almost looks like a hot day with ice cubes, doesn't it though? Or is that just me? These remind me of like ice cubes. It's really pretty with the iridescent in there. But as you can see, the bead is workable, right? We're going to pull this down. Really nice, workable bead, which is what you want. Okay. And it's not sticking in my brush. I do have some glitter, because we put a pigment in there. But for the most part, it's not sticking in my brush. That is actually very, very pretty. I like that one. What do you guys think? Do we want to add more, or do we not? Hi to all the 22 of you in here. Do you like this, or we want to add something else to it? Did that make a lot of sense for you guys, I hope, with the colors? And you can also have a color and want to add to it as well. So let me fill this up, and I'm going to show you. Like, you don't have to make it complicated at all, guys. But like I said, what I like to do is make sure I have enough. I don't fill it all the way to the brim anymore. I learned my lesson on that one. Not only was I going through a lot of unnecessary extra acrylic, but then people couldn't open it when I sent them out either. But look, perfect amount of acrylic to glitter ratio. You can see a little bit of that glitter, but you can see more of that acrylic in here, which is what we want, basically. So this is what she looks like, and this is a perfect ratio mix of glitter and pigment. Okay, now I'm also going to shake her up real good, just to shake her up, just so we can. Okay, it's perfect. You have more room. So also when you do that, you have more room that you can add a little bit if you want as well. So if you want to add a little bit more clear, do a half or a quarter, and it'll help give you a little bit more, especially if you put too much glitter in there. If you do it up to the line I told you, and then add your glitter at that second line, you'll still have room to be able to shake, mix, and stir, and also add in more acrylic if needed. Okay? So, there is that one. Let me put her over her. Alright. Next up, which one are we doing next, everybody? Let's go ahead and do a chunky one that has a little bit of everything in it. How's that sound? We're going to do a chunky glitter. Does that sound okay? So, if you didn't have anything to mix your acrylic with, like if you didn't have any extra jars, right? You're going to take your jar. Okay. We're going to take our clear. All right. And with the clear, like I was talking about with the dipping powder and all of that, here's what I'm going to say. If you do not dip your nails or are not going to use that acrylic for dipping, do not buy the one that says dipping and acrylic. 2-in-1 or whatever, because the consistency and the ratio is completely different, and a lot of those don't like to react well with a lot of monomers. They only react well with certain monomers. So your best bet is to just get regular core powder, acrylic powder, okay? A lot of them now that they make are 2-in-1, but I always make sure I go for just the regular acrylic powder. All right, so if you do not have a big thing to mix in, right? But we have a 1/2 tablespoon, as I'm showing here. We're going to go 1, 2. This is number 2. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to fill. So 2 of those fill up exactly to this ridge line right here. Okay. Right here. See this ridge line? It fills it exactly to this ridge line, which means you have all of this room from here to here, this little secondary rim right here, to add your glitter, okay? And that's going to give you enough room to shake, stir, and mix. Now, if you wanted to do just a little bit, we're going to do about, let's do another 1/2. We're going to take it up to that second rim. Oh, shit. And I'm going to take it to about middle of that second rim. And that is how I eyeball and judge what I'm putting in. And it works perfect every time. Every time. Alright, so we did about halfway up to that second rim with our clear. So now we're going to take a nice, beautiful, chunky, bright glitter. Okay. So let's use this guy for an example here. Just because he's already here and I think it's pretty. So I'm going to actually, let's throw these two together. Okay. We're going to throw those two together just because I said so. And I'm also going to add some of this pink because this pink's really pretty and I think they're going to go really pretty together. So when we're adding, this is if we do not have anything else to add into or like another thing to mix in, right? And is that perfect? Can you guys see okay? Okay, I just want to make sure you guys can see well, right? So with these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this guy out of my way. I'm going to use this. Now, you can use this big spoon if you want to. Just know more is going to end up in your jar than if you use this. So we're going to go 1, 2. Just like so. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more of that middle. Now, once that glitter fully is over the top of that and you cannot see no more acrylic, that is when it is perfect. And I'm telling you, okay, we're going to go 1, 2. You're going to go like this. Oh, yeah, we're right up to that second amount or that second bar. So we're going to add these, our little shapes of glitter. So I'm going to take the shapes. That way it gives us a little bit more. Okay. All right, we are right up to that. Not that top rim, but this second rim here. All right, this is going to give you the perfect ratio, guys. Okay, perfect ratio. Where did my, oh, there it is. Now, you can always add more if you want to. So this is how I eyeball it. It's going to give you perfect ratio. So let's go ahead and shake really quickly. Now, this is a perfect ratio for this type of jar. Always remember that. Not all jars are created equal and made the same either. So you have to know if you have a 10-gram jar, go up to just where the lips are on, you know, the lip of the jar. On any jar, if you go up to the lip and no further with your acrylic, then add your glitter, and then add a little bit more clear, it'll be perfect. Sometimes it depends on how chunky your glitter is, right? So I'm gonna do a scenario as well where we just do a super full chunky glitter, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So that way you guys can see the difference between what we need. Oh shit, I didn't even shut this all the way. I got it all over me because I didn't shut it all the way. No! That's okay. Remember to tighten your lid the entire way. Alright, so do you see this? Do you see how we can see more acrylic than glitter? Hold on. See that? More acrylic than glitter. Okay? That's what you want to see. Keep that in mind. More acrylic than glitter. Okay, so if this is perfect ratio, it's mixed very well to where you can see the glitter, but you can also tell that the acrylic is perfect. Like, you know how, like, when you open up an acrylic, for an example, if you open up an acrylic and it's got all that extra glitter on top, and then your acrylic has separated to the bottom. Even when you mix it, there's still so much glitter that you can't move it. This right here is going to be your perfect mix. I'm telling you. Now let's go ahead and I'm also going to mix this with my spoon. We shook it, but let's go ahead and mix it with our spoon just to make sure we get any from the, you know. Now that is a perfect mix. You can always add more glitter if you want to see more of a packed glitter look. You can always add more because you know you have enough clear inside of this jar. If this is the only jar that you have to mix with, it's going to be perfect. And I think I want to add a little bit more of this pink, just because I want more of a pink ratio to it. Just one little thing is going to give you enough to give you that color boost. Does that make sense? Hi, Glitter Rain! No worries, Kel. Okay, love. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thanks for coming, everybody. Alright. How are you, Glitter? Ugh. Oh, yeah. Now we can see a lot more of that pink. So that a lot more of that color is showing up, but we can still tell that we have a good amount. A good amount of that acrylic in there. Each time you add glitter, just remember, you're taking up space in your jar, guys. Okay? So if you fill it all the way to the top, it's gonna go everywhere when you open it and when you go to stir it, etc. Right? So, alright, let's go ahead and let's see what this baby is giving us. Do you guys think I should turn on my flash, or is it good enough? Does it look okay this way? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make my swatch stick wet. Look, I can pick up that bead. That bead is formed on one side, like so. See that? Let's put her down. Comes right off the brush. Okay, let's tap her down. Oh yeah, look at that bead, dude. That's a perfect amount of acrylic to glitter ratio right there, guys. It's always going to be perfect. Oh yeah, dude. And if you want more of that glitter look, add more in there. But me, I like it to where it's still a good chunky amount in there. And you know what's happening? The monomer is taking the color out of this one. This one glitter, the pink glitter, it's taking the color off the thing. Ah, that sucks balls. See what I mean? That means I don't know where I got that from, but that means that that's craft glitter, and not all glitters are great to use either. Look at that. Let's set her down. Comes right off. Boom, boom. Let's pull her up. Look at that. Tell me that's not perfect ratio, guys. Oh my gosh. Yep, that's perfect ratio right there. Now we're going to take it up to the sides here. Blend that baby in to that bead we just did. You see how nice and well you can work with that bead and it's not sticking to my brush or anything? That is the perfect amount. That's what you want to see when you go to pick up your beads, when you're working with acrylic and you're making your own powders. Okay? This right here is the only one that I cannot for sure guarantee that these are what is it? Cosmetic grade glitters. When you get them in those little tiny things, you just don't know. And you can get them from everywhere, right? But you don't know if it actually is. Now, on a basis of other glitters that don't come in those tiny jars, I do know that all of my glitters are cosmetic grade, non-toxic. Okay? Oh, yeah, dude. So that is what she looks like. So we have the orange effect with the purple effect. Do you guys like that one? I think she's pretty. And she also has stars in it too, which I didn't realize. But yeah. I'm going to put a little bit more right here. Just so we can fill this baby in really quick. And there we go. Ta-da! Perfect. Nice. She is beautimous. What do you guys think? Oh, hi! Me and my nails. Hi! So, aw, thank you. Want to be natural? So, a spam account told me to end my live because I got to apologize for breaking rules when I wasn't doing nothing, so I ended. Then they laughed in the comments saying, on your live, they said that? Don't you worry about them people, girl. Don't you let them people get to you. You should have just blocked them and just kept going with your live, because them people don't mean anything. Them people literally don't mean anything. Like, they do it just for people to do that. They want you to do that. So next time, laugh at them, block them, and keep going. Because they don't deserve your time anyway. Right, guys? I'm sorry I wasn't in there. If I wasn't live, I would have been in there and I would have kicked them out myself. Just now, but it said YouTube account. YouTube account? Yeah, just because it says that, it doesn't mean anything. It's just they made it that name. It's not a real YouTube account. Because they wouldn't do that. YouTube ain't got time for that shit. You know what I mean? I know, once you see it, you're like, ah! But it's really not YouTube. It's really just some idiot. To be honest. Yeah, they make it look like that. I've seen quite a bit of them, to be honest with you. Alright, let's make our chunky style, guys. Alright, we're going to fully just... What colors do we want to use for this chunky style? Do you want to just go with... So we're going to do the same thing as if we only have these jars to mix with, okay? Only if we have these jars to mix with. So we're going to go... We're just using clear. So we're going to go 1, 2... And I'm going to go about 2.5. And then the rest we're going to fully mix with a bunch of glitter. So I can show you what happens when you have too much glitter versus a pigment or acrylic. So I hope this helps everybody. I really, really, truly do. Let's just we're going to throw in some fine glitter, extra fine, chunky, all the things. But what colors do we want? I want you guys to interact with me so I can show you what this is going to do, how much you put in your jar. You kind of got to be mindful, but you can still have fun, as all of you guys have watched me do over all of these years. And so, yeah. Let's let's grab some good chunky glitter, shall we? You guys tell me, what colors do we want to do? What colors? What colors do we want to do? Let's see. Ooh, we got some glow glitter. Let's use some thick-ass glow glitter. Do we want to do neon? Look, I got some of these guys. We got some glow glitter, which are a little bit thicker of glitter. So let's just put a spoonful of this guy. Boop. Let's put a spoonful of this. We're going to just do... So these are different types of glitters. We have paper glitter. We have plastic, like thicker glitters. We're going to have fine glitters. We're going to do it all. Okay? Aw, thanks, Sherry. Yeah. I'm showing you despite. Alright, so we want orange. Alright, let's get some orange up in here. Here's some. I put that blue in there, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Let's put this one in there. It's got some little chunky hearts in it. Do some of that one. Let's do... What else? We wanted orange, right? Let's do a little more of this one. Okay. Let's do... Let's do some of this fine purple glitter. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but we're just doing it. Now let's get some good big chunky flakes, shall we? So, do you guys want me to use some yellow in there too? Or just orange? Ooh, we have this beautiful pink. Let's use some of this beautiful pink. That one's a super chunky. So this is what happens when you overfill with glitter. So we kind of just kept it with the blue and the purple and the whatever. It's fine. Hopefully it turns out good. Let's add a little bit more fine, like super fine in there as well. You know what? Let's add some reflective. How about that? Let's add some reflective in there. Let's see. Let's add some of this reflective purple, because this stuff is thick. Okay. See how thick she is? All the way to the top. Let's see if I made it more chunky than needed. I think I did, but let's see if we did it anyway. Alright, and then a lot of people, this is what they do. Do it like this. They put their cap on. Right? Like this. And they do this. See how light this is? I don't do acrylics either. Aw. Did you make an acrylic with my favorite colors, purple and iridescent? I did not. See what I'm doing here? See how it doesn't get all of it? Because I'm barely shaking it. Because this is what people do. They shake it barely like this. And then don't look at it, right? And they're like, oh no. And because we don't have a lot of room in there, and we're just shaking it a little bit, it doesn't get fully mixed all the way, guys. People are like this. Okay, we're done. And they think that's mixed. And then when they go to put it on the nail, it's all messed up and whatever. So, we're going to violently shake this baby. But you're going to have to shake it a little bit more because there's not a lot of room in here. So, you're going to have to, like, move it. Turn it upside down and shake this way. Turn it this way and shake that way. So it moves it all the way around. And you fully get... Okay. Now, this one you can see that there's way more glitter. But that still isn't enough. That still is not enough. We need to add more. Let's add some of these. I wasn't trying to add that much in there. Oh yeah, you can tell because I can barely put my spoon in there. So let's keep adding, shall we? Because I can still see a lot of them will have so much in there that you can't even move any of your, like, you can't even pick up a bead because you're just picking up glitter because there's not enough acrylic in there. But I do it so, oh shit, I do it and I freak, like, that is actually pretty color. That is actually a pretty light color. Wow, I actually like that. But it's still not as chunky as it needs to be. So let's take another color. Because I want to do this so you guys can see what the hell I'm talking about. Oh yeah, because you won't be able to really move your spoon around a lot. You'll be able to, like, yeah. Like, this is still mixed up pretty well. Okay, there we go. We can really see that there's a lot more glitter in that. You can, I'll probably have to add more just so I can, I think I can still do it. I can still show you guys. Confetti cake, yeah. Alright. So, okay, that's all, right? It's still forming a bead, so that means I didn't put enough in there. But look, do you see how it's not coming fully off of my brush? Right? There's too much glitter in there, so you're going to have a hard time messing with your bead. If that makes sense, because there's too much glitter, not enough. So it's not enough to, like, form it. Like, you can still mess with it, obviously, and form it like I'm doing now. Once you get it wet and all the things, right? So, wait, that's why you don't want to just keep adding and adding and adding and adding. It looks really pretty, to be honest with you. It does. It looks really pretty. I actually like that color. I didn't think I was going to like that color, but I do. I don't even know what I threw in there, to be honest with you. It's pretty, though. But even that still has more than some of them that I've... See how it falls apart like that? Did you see that? Because it's going... You have more glitter than acrylic on your brush when you're picking it up. Can you still form it? Yes, you absolutely can. But you're going to be messing with it for a little bit. And if you're new, you're not really going to want to be doing that. But anyway, it'll still work, as you can see. Once you get it nicely saturated with your monomer, you'll be fine. But I just prefer not to do that, to be honest with you. I prefer to do it the way that I showed you guys, so that way we don't have to worry about this, because I honestly don't like how chunky it is. I'm not a huge fan of, like, the super chunky glitters. Like this, where it's, like, all jam-packed in there. It's not really my thing, but I like to see a cohesive amount of stuff. And this really isn't that, but I still am liking this for the color aspect of it. I do like this. It kind of reminds me of Barbie. But if you do have too much glitter, you can, yes, you can add more. What is your base acrylic for these? Clear acrylic. Clear acrylic powder. That is going to be my base for any of this. It's going to be my clear core acrylic powder. And like I said, there's a difference between core powder and dipping powder. So always remember that, guys. It'll say 2 in 1, but yeah, I really like this. And I feel like I want to make a nail out of this, even though it needs more acrylic. So I'm actually just going to fill this up a little bit. So I'm going to take this little guy here, and it only takes a little bit to, and what I like to do is I like to make sure I go all the way around like so, and then you know it's fully covered, and that should be a perfect amount to get you to where you, a better ratio where you want to be. You have to shake it really good, but it'll still work. What clear acrylic are you using? I am using, typically I use Young Nails. I have also used, it's, I forget the name of it, but you can get some really good ones off Amazon that are EMA, MMA free, and you want to make sure you look in the description, guys. You don't want to just, I will never recommend Salviland. I won't recommend Model 1s. I won't recommend, Mia's Secret is fine, but I don't, it dries too fast. But Mia's Secret is a good starting out one. I did start out on Mia's Secret myself. Yes, off Amazon. And then, isn't the clear the Alma? It's not Alma. Starts with an A, but it's not Alma. You want me to go back and watch the video to see what you did? Please do a manicure with this one. Which one? The pink one? Or the one I just did, the birthday one? And is there specific glitters that you have to use for acrylic? Not everything works, no. Craft glitters, some can work, but your monomer is going to pull out that color of those glitters and change and like turn them silver, if that makes sense. So it's going to like take the color off of them. I always recommend you want cosmetic grade non-toxic glitter. That glitter is what's going to be your best friend because it is suitable for your monomer and your acrylic powder together. Does that make sense? Now we're looking good. It's super full, but definitely a lot better than what it was. But that's basically what happens when you have too full of a glitter. The bead falls apart, as you guys seen when I went to go pick it up and put it on the swatch. The bead loves to fall apart. Yes, can you work with it? Absolutely. You'll just have to, you know what I mean, mess with it a little bit, which is fine. Alright, that one was fun. Alrighty dighty. Next one, let me clean out my brush just in case. Because when that happens also, when it gets like messed up like that, as you guys seen, it will stick in your brush somewhat because it's too dry. There's not enough monomer that is able to get into there to make the bead what it needs to be because there's too much glitter. So there's not enough acrylic to saturate that bead in order to make it a full perfect bead. Does that make sense? I hope this is making sense. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. Hi, Alicia. How are you? All right. Next one. We're going to save the shadow for last. So, we did a glow, and I will make sure I show that glow as well. Let's do, that one was our chunky one. We have a smaller one. Let's just do our regular pigment, okay? So, what color of regular pigment do we want to use? What color are we going for today, guys? We want to do something bright and fun. Do we want to mix together? What do we want to do? We want to be on the, like, because we can mix a purple and a pink and a blue, or what do you guys would like to see? And you can also have these ones, which are called marblers. And these ones actually are more of a flaky effect. Can you demonstrate again since you added clear birthday? Oh, okay, love. Can you demonstrate again since you added clear? Oh, on the swatch stick, my love? Yes, I can. Alright. So this is the birthday one we added more clear to. And you want purple and iridescent. Right? Everybody good? Purple and iridescent? Alright, let's do this. So I am always going to make sure I wet my nail and the swatch stick. So of course this is still going to have a lot in it, but we added more clear, so it should go right on the brush. Look at that. That is a perfect bead for a chunky glitter. Look at that. Comes right off the brush. You see that? Just by adding that little bit that we added, now we're going to be able to manipulate the bead like we want. We're going to take it all the way to the side, flatten the top up, okay? Nice. Look at that. And it's workable. We don't have to like wait and like pat it down to try to work that bead. So I'm going to pull and drag this down a little bit more. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, because the more clear that you add, okay, the more clear that you add to your color, right, because we needed it, the more it's going to not be so saturated with that glitter. It'll still be a lot, because we didn't add a lot, but it's going to make it different. And I'll show you why in just a second. Or I'll show you the difference in just a second. So I'm going to pull this up and melt that bead up into that next bead. Definitely nice and movable. As you've seen with that first one, I couldn't really mess with that bead too much. If you guys remember, it was kind of hard to maneuver that bead. Nice. And you want to make sure it's actually grasping. Look at that. Right off my brush, y'all. Woohoo. Oops, shit. So I'm just going to move this. Okay, let's melt that bead up into that prior bead. Pull our sides in. Okay, and then you can either pull it down like I'm doing here, or you can pat it down. Pat it up, pat it down, so it's like freely moving in there. I'm taking it right off the top. Okay, we want to make sure, look at that, it's nice and wet. So when it's wet like that, comes right off my brush. Perfect. I can work with this better than I could the first time we did it. Okay, do you see the difference now? And even if you just make a little bit, it made a huge difference. Okay, I put a lot on the end of that, so let's grab that excess off. All right, dude. There she is. Nice. There she is. Really pretty. I definitely like this color. I didn't think I was going to like this color, but here is the difference. Do you guys see the massive difference now? Good night, Cordy. Love you, girly. Can you see the difference? See how much more thicker the glitter is in this one versus this one? I hope you can see the difference there. But it is a different, massively different than this. Definitely love it. I am loving this color. I think this might be my favorite color so far. Good night, my love. I love you. Alright. Alright, next up we're going to do our pigment. So, is everybody cool with purple? Do we want to do a really pretty dark purple? We have this beautiful, super dark purple. And then we have this guy here, which is kind of a lighter, more muted look. And pearlescent. So, typically, what you want is more of a nice, beautiful look. Which one? Oh, she wants iridescent. Ooh, let's see. I don't know if I have iridescent per se. I think I have a shift one in here. Have a nice purple iridescent one right here. Let's stick that in there too. purple. Well, if we do purple, we can't mix purple and teal together because it'll make brown. But I can do teal glitter in it if that's what you want. And then we can make it nice and like shimmery with this one as well. So we can use this little interference iridescent in there, and then we can also add iridescent glitters to our pigment. Okay. Do you like that bright color, or do you guys like a more lighter type of color? So this one is going to be our pigment one. Just straight pigment. And these ones are going to be a dark pigment. And now we could add more of a pink in there. We could add a pink in there. These are for soaps. These are cosmetic grade. These are on Amazon. They do work good. I do like them. You can always add, you know what I mean, to these. But we have this one. You can add like a couple different types of purples. Like, do we like this one or do we like this darker one? Or we could do a mix of both. If we do a mix of both, it'll give us a little bit of a different element to our colors. This one, okay. We'll add both. The second one, okay. We'll do this guy here and see what we get. How about that? Hi, everybody. Hello, everybody. Now, what I like to do is I like to add a really, really nice, beautiful, we have this little guy here, but I have purple, and trying to, do we want to do, I have this as a purple, but it's, I kind of want to do like a nice iridescent color. So I'm going to grab my pretty iridescent purple effect here, and I'm going to add the iridescent, if I can find it. See this guy? This guy right here? I'm going to use this just strictly for y'all, okay? This is the most beautiful rainbow iridescent. You see that? See that? Yeah. And it is beautimous. Now, this is all I got of this color, but I have another one. So do we want to add we're going to add the interface to that, which is going to be great. Let's go with some purple. You want to go with this color? That's going to go beautiful with that as well. We could add this little fine glitter. Oh, this is just supposed to be pigment. But she said iridescent, so our last one, we can make this, or do you want me to add the glitter in here too? Let me know. And so the iridescent always looks really, really, really pretty, but this one's more of a yellow orange, and I like the pink. The more pinky iridescent colors is going to be your best bet when you're using a purple like this, instead of like the blue-green pink shift. You want to do both, the pigment and that? Okay. Anybody else object to that? Is anybody else having a good time? Everybody having a good time? Yes, no, maybe so. All right, we want to make it as beautiful as possible, right? Beautiful as possible. We also have this guy here we can add in there. It's a little bit on the lighter side, but it is purple. But it is still giving a little bit more of that iridescent reflex. And looking at all my colors I got here. And we also have this guy here, which is also a chrome. Oh, it's empty. I lied. Never mind. I didn't know that was empty. What you think? No worries. So we can use this light of a purple with the dark purple and the iridescent as well. And we're going to use the interface to see what it all comes out looking like. All right. Now, the one that's after this one is going to be our eyeshadow one. Okay, guys? That one's going to be our last one that we make today. No worries. Alright, so I'm actually going to use this since we're using the pigment powder. Okay, I'm going to be a little bit more strategic with this one. And the reason being is because your pigment, like this, right? Your pigment is going to be a lot more, how do I want to say that? Like, you want to be a little bit more thoughtful with your pigment, I guess, because you don't want it to ball up, end up balling up on you. So we know we need 3, so we're gonna do 1, 2, and 3 of the clear powder. I don't necessarily like to add white into my dark colors. Hold up. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to add, so for every 3 of those, you add 1 thing of color. So we're going to use this little guy here. We're going to go 1. Nice. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I flatten that out really nicely so it's not overflowing or heaping out. We're going to go 1. To R3, but if you want it to be a little bit darker, go in with a little bit more of that half color. I'm going to go like that to kind of get it off of my spoon here. Alright, let's do our interface. And because we're doing the interface here, this is the Ghost Shimmer with the purple violet hue. We're going to go 1 of those. Okay, we're only going to need 1 of those. Oh, that's going to be a pretty color. So let's go ahead and mix our pigment first, and then we'll go in and add our glitter. See if you guys like this first, and then you see how you have all them extra little things in there? That's why I like to mix it first with a spoon, and then I'll shake it. Preferably, you want to get one of those little mixer guys. Those are going to be your best friend when you're mixing your own custom acrylics. And, like, I love those currently, right? Because it really does. And you have to be careful how long you mix it for as well. That is a main thing. That is a main component, too. You don't want to keep mixing and over-mixing, because over-mixing can make it too thin. It'll make the powder and the blend too thin, to where it's not going to react right when you go to make a bead on the nail. It'll be super thin and super powdery, and the grained reels that are inside there are going to act differently because you busted up the chemical components in there too much to where it wasn't able to fully shift and grab onto that acrylic, and which is kind of weird. So you kind of have to do it like I said, little by little. A lot of people just throw it in there. However, my brain doesn't let me do that, okay? It really doesn't. It might be weird, but yeah. I'm so glad you guys are here. Shout out to everybody, 23 of you guys here. I thought more people would show up. I really, really did. I really thought more people would watch. And I was really hoping that YouTube would send this one out because it's a really good tutorial. And, yeah, if you learn a lot, I hope you learn a lot. And I hope that you guys like it. And I hope it's not too boring. And I hope that you guys enjoy watching. Usually they're called my mix-a-lot sessions. So I kind of show you a little bit of everything when we're mixing. But this one, I kind of just wanted to show you that, like, you could save your money. And, ooh, that's a pretty purple. let's see what she looks like before we add our glitter to her. And then I'm going to show you with the, and it depends on the grade of, like, powders that you use. Like, pigment powders. Some pigment powders are just a lot more, like, higher quality, and you'll be able to tell the difference between a super high quality pigment versus not a high quality pigment. And the difference is you have to keep adding color to get it to the color that it should be. Does that make sense? Because some pigments can just not give you the color payoff that you need, and that's because they put more additives in it than they do color. So the color balance doesn't come out the way that you think it's going to come out because it's a lower grade pigment, lower grade mica pigment. Your natural pigments are always going to be your brightest and your darkest, if that makes sense. Okay. Ooh. Look at that. Let's see what she does. Ooh. Okay. Oh no. My hair. That is a pretty color. It's got like the reflect of that like violet color. Ooh. Okay, so when I go to do the bead like this, like I said, it's really hot in my room, so it's going to dry pretty quickly. But I think it needs more color because we don't want to see that transition into this. Send to you. Hi, cat lover. Oh, you're getting your oil changed? Split that in half before you add glitter. Oh. I think it needs more color, to be honest with you. It's pretty like that, but then once you get it here, once you go and put it on the actual nail, it kind of loses a little bit of its color because you're thinning that out. So we definitely need a little bit more color. Even though we put that amount of color per capita in there, we need more of that purple color. Now see, this pigment is totally different. This pigment is different than this pigment. Okay? So, just know that. And I'm going to go ahead and add another, just a tiny, like I said, you don't want it to be like over heaping or whatever. Okay, let's see what that gives us. Yeah, it is. Hi, Tip. Shout out to the 22 of you in here. You really want to make sure you shake these bad boys. But it's super fun to experiment. You guys just throw a bunch of shit in there, you know? Bye, Nana. Be careful. Have fun. Ooh, I can definitely tell the difference. Because you don't want to add too much pigment. The more pigment you add, the less you lose of your acrylic powder. Does that make sense? So let's see what this gives us. So the more clear that, or the more pigment you add, the more of that clear that you lose. Oh yeah, look at that difference. Look at that difference, everybody. Oh yeah, that was perfect. Now it's beautiful. Look at that transition of how light it was. And now you can't see through it no more. So it's all about really eyeballing and making sure you have exactly enough. Oh yeah, dude. See how it comes right off my brush? Yeah. And you also... And what I like about this clear is it doesn't go anywhere, as you guys can see. So just make sure you melt that bead in there. Oh, this is a really pretty purple. Like so, but you can definitely see the difference from before to after. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna add just a little bit more of that purple sparkle in this. Just a little bit. Just so you can see that when you put it on the nail. Is it too bright or can you see? Aw, you did. I missed it too. I'm glad you guys are here. It's been a while, huh? Now, if you use too much monomer, the monomer can break up that as well. And so it'll look weird on your nail or the swatch stick. So always remember that. But if you, I don't want to do half because I want to make sure, I'm going to fill this guy first, okay? Let's fill this guy first, and then whatever I have left, I'll just add to it. Okay. Okay. So there's that one. That doesn't have any glitter in it. That one is just the purple. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to add the glitter. Okay. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now this time we're going to add, I'm going to add like big spoonfuls so we can, we're going to go 1, 2. We're going to do 3 and see what we get. Okay, I'm going to take this interface so we have that sparkle. But this time, I'm going to take that. Okay, now we're going to take our sparkle. I need more of this. This is not polished. I forget what it's called, but it's one of my favorites. This one's going to be really pretty. She just made that purple one. I did. I come late. Hi, Elsa. Hi, Oso. Yes, I did. Alright, so let's grab this. We're going to do about 2 of those. Alright. Let's see what that gets us, everybody. So this one in particular is Pigment and Glitter with Interface Purple. No worries, Lori, it's okay. No big deal. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. You have to find a new vehicle? Oh, I hate that. Okay, as you can see, I'm shaking it really, really, really good. We're going to do the black still. I'm going to mix the black up as much as I possibly can, but that's going to be our last color for tonight. So, oh no. That's what I did in my one car. blew the head gasket. It sucked so bad. Okay, this is what she is looking like. Alright. Let's see what she's giving us. Ooh, you guys. That is, let's see, is she coming off? Oh, she came right off the brush. Got a little too much, pat that baby back in there. Ooh, that is pretty. Oh, yeah, that's pretty. Okay, I still need a little bit more of that purple, though. I think the shards of that glitter are perfect. We don't need too much more of that. Oh, yeah, that purple is beautiful. Shit. Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, I definitely like this one. Can you guys see the actual glitter? Hi, Hazel. Hi, everybody. Hello. I love that purple. Look at that. Melt that bead into the next. Oh, yeah. I really like that one. What do you think? You like that one? I don't know if you guys can see it, but that is what she looks like. And then she also has like the little tiny like purpley pink specks that you can see throughout it too. I'm just gonna pull this down. Oh, that's stunning. All right, there's our purple. So the ratios that you need. So here's the difference. So we have the glitter with more pigment, and then this one's with less pigment, where the bottom is where we added more pigment to it. So we have a really, this one, I don't know if you can see, but it's got like red, purpley pink things that come out of it, and then that one. So let's put it in our little jar. If you DM me on Insta, and then we can talk about it a little. Okay, let's fill this baby up. Meow. All this is made with cosmetic grade glitter, pigment, and all the things. So make sure when you are going on to Amazon that you are looking into more of the description part so you can see if it says non-toxic and all the things. So that way you at least know if it's regular craft glitter or not. There she is. I really like that one. What did I do with the other one? Didn't I just make one? Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh my god, look. I still have some left. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually put that one in there. Because I can. It's going to be a lot lighter than that one, but less glitter and a lot lighter, but I definitely don't want to only have a little bit left, and then that is what happens when you don't fully, Hi, Elizabeth. The glitter is too much. That one is better than the one before. Yes, because it needed a little bit more structure to it. This one, you're not going to really be able to see that glitter, but let's just... I left this one like super wet just so I could see how it... Oh yeah. Let's pull this guy down. Yeah, just a little bit of that glitter, nothing like the other one. And yeah, but once you're gonna do like the shadow, like the eyeshadow ones and stuff, guys, you really want to get you a good either mortal and pestle, or you want to get one of those tobacco grinders if you're gonna do it and use like eyeshadows and break them up and do it. Now, for the most part, you really want that structure of your powder to be evened out. So, I'm just going to lightly pull it down. There we go. It's super pretty, less of that glitter that you can see, which is not bad. Okay. Now, I'm going to, and it doesn't stay in my brush, which is great. So, I'm just going to refill this one. So, you have one with a hell of a lot more glitter than this one. Hi! My bestie's in here. Hi, babe. Look, and I still have more. That's why I typically like to make sure I do the ratio. Okay, so here's this one. So this one I'm going to leave over off to the side here, so that way I know which one's which. And I'll just leave this in here and put it in a different jar for myself. Alrighty. So far, we have made the opal one. Here's the glitter with the glow. We have the chunky, because I was showing how to do certain things. Where'd my other one go? This is like the super chunky. And then we have the purple. So we've used all different types. We've used chrome, pigments, glitters, powders, glitter powder. We've used flakies, and we've also used the glow in the dark. Chunky glitter, fine glitter, and scenario if you only have that jar, etc., etc. So So those are the colors that we have made. Usually, I don't usually do those types of, like, colors, but it's good to do different things, you know? Now, the other one, I think is going to be a little bit hard, and I'm going to show you why. Because the other one, with that black, is going to be so pigmented, you're going to really make sure you want that nice. And, by the way, if it doesn't stick in your brush, you have to make sure it's not going to stick in your brush as well. And if it is sticking in your brush, then you need more acrylic. If you have to clean your brush too much because it's, like, super in there, you have to add more clear so it doesn't stick to your brush. If it keeps sticking to your brush the whole time, it could be your acrylic, but you've seen my acrylic. It doesn't stick in my brush, so. Alright. Let me open my window, everybody. So, I cannot find that other tobacco grinder for some reason. Not really sure where it went or why, but I'll have to, ever since I moved my room, I have to figure out where it went, but that's okay. Alright. Oh, shit. So the black, we're going to use both of those, and I'm just going to use, this is going to be our matte pigment, and our matte pigment is going to be our eyeshadow. Okay, so this is going to be our eyeshadow one, so we can see that one. Yes, we're going to do black eyeshadow. So I can show you the difference of how it comes out versus like a regular chrome or a regular pigment. This is mica pigment. The eyeshadow is different. The eyeshadow is matte. We're going to use this guy here. This is a matte black, and then we also have this matte black in here too, right here. Now these are lower budget, as you know, budget powders, but these are called natural powders. These are the dioxides or oxide powders, which are the matte ones. Okay, the oxide powders are not the ones that are unnatural. They are derived from actual pigment base. So we're going to use this one, and these, like I said, are all of my palettes like this, guys, are brand new, never used. I bought them, and I don't wear makeup, okay? So this is I just got chrome all over the damn thing. But this is what it is. MBY Makeup Studio, the neutral edition. So yeah, this is what it is. Never used it, brand new. So we're going to use this guy. Let's get rid of these. Okay, let's put a new one out. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're cleaning your spoons off as well. Because what you don't want is the powder to get into your color when you're mixing it, or if you have to put it back into your clear, you don't want any of that color to be put back into your clear powder either. So I just clean that off really good. We're gonna get rid of these guys so we have a nice clean spoon. Now with this one, we're gonna have to break it up evenly. Okay, so we're gonna need something to break that up with. So we have our 2 spoons, but we also need something metal to scrape out of it with. So I'm going to go ahead and grab. Okay, so we have our jar. I'm going to move this guy. So my hair's falling out of my head. Nice. And then, okay, so we're going to set those there. Set that guy up there. Let's grab our, like, you could do like a cuticle pusher type thing to get it out with. I like these types of guys because they really do work well. Totally up to you guys if you want to use that type of stuff. Or you could use an end like this. Just make sure it is cleaned off. Okay, make sure it is disinfectant and clean before you even put it in that pan. If you add glow, will it glow being black? It will to a point, but not a lot. The black will kind of cancel it out, but it will. I've seen it do it. I've done it before, but it just doesn't glow like you think it would glow. Even though it's clear. We can try it though. We can add some white glow pigment to it. Just so we can see if it actually does anything or not. Okay. So I'm gonna take this out to my hubby and see if he can't get this to work. And I'll be right back. Alright guys, don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. Alright, we're back, everybody. Yeah. The glow powder has its own color, yes. Hi, Beezy. I'm going to show you what it looks like if you don't have one of those grinders, too. I'm going to take a drink. And it depends on how big you want to. Okay, we're going to take our clean little thing. Let's go ahead and get our clear in there. So we're going to do 3. 1, 2. Okay. Now, I'll do the white so we can see if it glows. No worries. We'll do the white and we'll see if we can get it to glow. But usually it cancels it out, but we can still try, okay? All right. So let's take this guy. But the difference with these pigments is these pigments have oils in them. So the eyeshadows are made a bit differently than just regular mica powder. That is going to be your main difference here. And also the fact that you can tell that it's made. You see that? See how it's doing this? That is the oils that are in there keeping it together in the pan when it's pressed together. So, you know, it's formulated a bit differently than mica powder. Mica powder is more of that natural type. However, what's crazy is I have a magnet right here in this pan. So we want it to be nice and thick. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this whole corner out. And then I'll grab the glow. I'm going to do the glow white, but it's going to be, or it's going to glow blue. It's a white powder though, so let's see what that's going to give us. You don't typically need a lot, but okay. So we're going to break that up with our spoon as much as we can here. So when you have powders like this that are more of that oiled consistency, like the shadow part, because these are matte. So these are the oxide colors versus the non-oxide colors, right? And so they act a bit differently than the regular powders do. Hi, is it Glorifida Diva? Welcome, everybody. Hello. Now, you can see it sticking to the side of my little jar here. See that? Typically with the micas, they don't really do that. But we have all these little particles in here, and that's why you want that grinder, because the grinder is going to get all of those little particles that are balled up and left over in there pretty nicely, might I add. But we're just going to grab what we can so we can get this color to nicely grab onto that acrylic the best that we can here. So a lot of the times, if you take it and smash it up against your little jar, then you can smash up a lot of those. But for the most part, you're still going to have a lot of that eyeshadow bits and pieces in there, even if you stir it up really, really finely. And what's funny is, it looks like there's a lot of metal in there, but... Okay, I'm just going to shake this out really good. Oh shit, I just broke it. I hit it too hard. Don't hit it on the bottom, hit it on the side. But you want to hit it up against your hand like this, and it'll really bust up all of those little particle balls that we have in there. Aww. Thanks. Thanks for coming, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe. I really appreciate everybody that is here today. Now, if you guys rewind back to the beginning, I show you every single different type of glitter, chunky, pigment, glow, you name it, we do it. The only ones we don't do are the neon fluorescent colored style pigments. Those are the only ones I haven't shown. They're pretty much like this black one here. They're just neon, so they're a little bit different. But now you can see the difference. See that? Versus how it was. So that's why I use my spoon first. And then I go in and do that. Did it work?
What?
The thing on the counter.
Oh, I don't know where it was. Anything. You just said thing. You're just supposed to know what thing is?
No, I said it's on the counter. Goofy. Okay, so there are still some little bits and pieces that I can see in here. And then when you use this, it makes it soft. So the matte colors make it a little bit softer, which is different. But I still have some colors in here that are, you know, didn't break up fully. That's okay, but that is basically the main reason why I use the grinder. So that way I don't, you know what I mean? I can really make sure all of those are getting broken down, and then it also attaches itself to the acrylic in a really good way. So that is the difference, though. As you can see, like, when we use the ones out of the micas, when we use those, you can just add that in there, no problem. You know what I mean? And we can shake, 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 and it's good to go. But for the eyeshadows, it's a little bit different. That's why if you have a mortal and pedestal, I think it's called, that's going to give you your best bet, so you can actually get all these little tiny, whatchamacallits, blended into the acrylic appropriately. You know what I mean? You can still use it like this, too. I'm not saying you can't, but just know that you're going to have little bits and pieces in there, you know what I mean? So let's see how dark we got this one. Because we want this to be really black, though. So let's see how good we got this one. Did it work? Woo! Alright. You can set it right there, babe. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we definitely need more color. I can see those little bits in there. But it's not forming the proper bead, which means we need more color and more structure to the actual bead. See? Can you guys see that? It looks nice and everything, but yeah. So you're gonna have to do these types of colors a little bit more. So they take a little bit more time to do. But if you want those matte colors that you can't necessarily get, then your eyeshadow is your best bet. It is sticking. Oh shit, I got some orange in it. Oh, damn it. It's sticking to the... Okay, let's add a little bit more. I'm gonna have way more of this than I wanted, but... We need a little bit more of that structure, because we added that pigment in there. So the more pigment you add, the more structure you're gonna need, guys. So always remember that. I'm gonna do a dash, just a teeny bit of that white to give it a little bit more opaqueness. What do you mean purple or red? Who's not talented? What do you mean? Okay, we added that. I'm kind of seeing, now that I'm looking at it, is that not a freaking matte? I am actually seeing some glitter, which indicates to me that it looked matte on the top, but inside, it's a mica. That means it's a blend mix. What the shit? And they sell that shit for so much? Are you kidding me right now? What the ever-loving you-know-what? This one is a... This one's a mica too. Wow. I could have just put mica in here, dude. And been fine with it. Oh, I'm so mad. Wow. But for the most part, you always want to, when you open up your powder, it's going to be lighter. But you really do want to make sure that your powder is a dark powder, so you know that it's going to come out really nice and thick. I mean, that's okay. You know what I mean? But now that we put more in there, we can use our little grinder guy. And you basically want to make sure you clean it out. So, we're going to have to clean. So while that is there, I'm going to stick this lid on here though, so nothing gets inside that. But yeah, you want to make sure you're cleaning whatever out so you don't contaminate if you didn't clean this out, and I never did. So we're going to spray it down and clean it out. So thanks for staying, guys. I really appreciate you guys. I know it's a little bit different of a mixing session, but it'll help save you guys a little bit more money, and that way you guys can try to mix at home and you don't have to worry about, you know what I mean? You can use things that you have at home. You know what I mean? And you won't have so many mix-up and mess-ups. You know what I'm saying? So Hope it helped. If it didn't, that's cool too. If it did, that's cool too. Now you don't want to fill this up all the way. You want to be able to allow it to move inside the jar so you can actually get a really good, you know what I mean, flare. And my goofy self didn't... I still have powder in here. So, one sec, everybody. That's one thing you don't want to do when you have to use one of these grinders like this. You want to make sure that not only do you disinfect it, but like you want to make sure you kind of get a couple different types of them, or different ones, especially so you can use one for different colors. Like say we're gonna make 6 different colors, then you want to make sure you get a couple more. Hi Jess, hi everybody. You want to make sure you get a couple more, so that way one is for darker colors, the other ones are for glitter, and then you don't have to worry about doing this and taking all the stuff out and cleaning it out, you know what I mean? And that way nothing gets like other colors in there and all that good stuff. But I have been doing this for basically my whole life on my channel. We've been having mix-a-lot sessions, and I stopped, and we haven't had one for a really long time. So this one was a bit different because I just wanted to show you guys that you can actually save money. But sometimes if you're not paying attention, you can still have fun, but you can also mess it up as well. And then you're just, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't want anybody to try to do this and then be like, oh yeah, and then send it out to people, and then, you know what I'm saying? So make sure you have all the proper equipment. Make sure you have your PPE on, your gloves, everything, okay? Because especially if you're going to try to send this out to somebody, if you're going to make it and you want somebody to try it, or whatever, it needs to be clean and all the things, okay? And I don't use anything craft. Nothing craft do I use. Basically most of my the stuff that I use is the higher end, not the cheapy end. I'm glad this thing's working, because it really does help, but you don't want to do it too much. Do it just enough. And then I like to do this, but and then you just kind of go like this, because you want to make sure that whole thing gets it. A lot of times it'll stick to the bottom right here, so you want to make sure you're tapping it so all that comes down to the middle. It comes back up the top, and then that way it'll go around and come up and then back down. But this has been my best friend when mixing all of these. Oh, that color still needs mixed. Yeah, definitely. That color definitely needs mixed. But can you see? Look how much smoother that is. I don't know if you can tell, but it's so smooth. I cannot believe they duped us on this freaking eyeshadow. I thought it was actual matte. But do you see how it like sticks together like that? Look at that. That is from the different chemicals they use to press the pigments, which are the oils. So it's a bit different, but it'll still work, okay? So I am going to put this in here, and we're just going to try it out. But you can see it just acts a lot different. The powder itself acts a lot different. It reminds me, see that? See how it's in brick form like that? And what it does is it reminds me of a dipping powder. But as we mixed it up really well. But the more you mix, the more it gets like this. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's really different. Not all eyeshadows are created equal either. You know? So I'm going to shake it up good in there too. And then now I just have a bunch of black. So, see how it sticks to the bottom like that inside there? From the oils and stuff. And then you just have to kind of break it up and get it to come out. Yeah. Anyhoozle. Let's test her out, and this is our last one, guys, for the night, but I'll show you the glow for the other one as well. Let's go ahead and put this back on here so nothing gets inside. Okay. Here's that. Let's move that. And I'm going to take a drink. No worries, love. Be careful. Alright, let's see what she's working with. Alright, let's test her out. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get this guy wet. See how that bead is really wacky? We need more clear. Look at that bead. Watch. It's kind of still sticking in there in my brush. Do you see it? We definitely need a little bit more clear to structure that bead the best that we need it to be. Can I still use it? Absolutely. Do I like to? No. Because I really want that structure to be there, so that way nothing happens when I put it on my nail. Does that make sense? It's definitely a lot darker. But even as much as I push that in there, look at that. It is not acting like a good bead should. See how flat it is? Look at that. See how some of it's still sticking on my brush? Let's get my brush wet. Let's manipulate that bead. And that bead is drier because of how the pigment is too, because some pigments can make your stuff dry faster as well. So just always just kind of have that in the back of your mind too, that some will also make your acrylic dry faster too, depending on what it's made with, what type of acrylic, what type of colors are you using, so, and your monomer, what type of monomer are you using. So I can use this, yes. There's no structure to that bead whatsoever. As you can see. I mean, it's there. We can work with it, but it's not great. And if somebody tells you, oh, it's fine, don't worry about that. Do not listen to them. Because it is not. And if you try to use the color like you would anything else, it wouldn't work great. Okay? So, just know. And it might not dry effectively the way that you need it to either. And all the good things. So, that's what she looks like. She needs way more clear. So, I'm actually going to add some clear into this. Because, yeah. I'm just going to add one more scoop of clear. And that should give us enough. I use Young Nails monomer because it's effectively universal, and I know there's other ones out there, but like I myself am sensitive and I cannot use Kiara Sky. I cannot use damn, what was that other one? Kiara Sky. Mia Secret gives me a headache now, and tones, I can't use tones at all. At freaking all. I'm gonna have a lot of this black, so it better beat up the way I need. Me too. I'm used to the young nails, so it doesn't bother me, but it doesn't give me a headache. And Zulays doesn't give me a headache either. And Zulays is not as harsh as... It's got a more of a sweet scent, Zulays does, but I haven't been able to use Zulays with anything else. Other people say they've used Zulays with other stuff, but I haven't been able to get it to work well. That should be better. Let's see if that's better. Let's see. Oh yeah, we were gonna put glow in this black, weren't we? Shit, forgot. Okay, I'm gonna add this guy right here. Let's see if she'll glow. I don't have the low odor, no. I don't like the low odor, but try it and see if you like it. We're gonna use this. Now, since this is black, we're gonna have to, like, put quite a bit in there. See what that does. Don't know how well it's gonna go, but we'll figure it out. If it's not usable, then... That looks better than what it did. Let's see. Let's see how good it holds on our... That beads a lot better. See the little pieces you don't want. Okay. So, I mean, can I use this as a black for a background? Absolutely. It's not bad, to be honest. It's really not. Now, we get a little bit better of a structural bead. Which is, we still have some sitting on our brush, though. So I might have to use a tad bit more white to structure the bead a little bit more differently. Does that make sense? Let's move. And then I'm going to pull this down. You know what this reminds me of? Remember that black that I used in my last live that I did where I was using black? Remember that? And I couldn't get it to, like, form, and it was all weird and, like, whatever. How did I get... Oh my god. I have glitter in it! You know why I have glitter in it? Because there is glitter inside that LA Colors one. And I thought it was just on the top. Nope. So we have bits of glitter in there. But it's not bad of a structure. I just need to kind of add a little bit more. Oh no, my brush hair. It's not see-through, so we're good on that part. You know what I mean? We're definitely not see-through, so... And it's still buttery when I'm moving it. You know what I mean? So as I move it down, it's still, like, buttery. So... It just kind of reminds me of, like, coal. Or, like, whatever they use on the It reminds me of tar. Does that make sense? That's what it reminds me of. But that's what she looks like. And she is not see-through. So she's pretty good. And with the little tiny flecks, I don't know if you guys can actually see that, but there are little tiny flecks of holographic in there, which is kind of crazy. I'm trying to analyze it. We won't know until her drying all the way. Is this one dried all the way? Okay. This one's still sticky, which I figured it would be. But that one should dry fairly well. So that's good. I can still use that black right now if I were to use an actual set. So that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll probably restructure that a little bit. Just to give it, you know... No, I mean, the structure's fine. I can work with it, but... Okay. Alright, there's the black, everybody. Alright. So, now I have this to have for later. You fell asleep? No worries. So this is the new one, and it's super black. So I think we did really well on this. You can't see it, but you can. This is the black one, and it doesn't, you cannot see through it at all. So that's great. We can actually see that it's actually black. So very happy about that one. Here's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to clean my brush real quick. That is all the colors. Now I am going to show you the glow for those to see if they actually do. Did you want to add red or purple glitter to the black? Not really, because I just wanted a black, but if you want one, I can. Because I think I have enough to make one secondary one. Okay, you want to make sure. The best way to look is spread your brush out like that. Yes, I have sparkles in there, but I don't have acrylic inside my brush. Really nice, flat, and beautiful. Now I'm going to let that guy dry. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. I love doing that. Look at that. I love these things. Look, it doesn't go through at all. Love it, dude. Love it, love it. So, what are your guys' feelings on everything? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put these in the lamp. And I'll show you guys them. And where's this one? So it is taking a little bit for this to actually dry. It should already be dry, but we have the blue. Alright, we got all them in there. Nice. And now I have to figure out which is which here. Okay, that's that one. Alright, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy here and we're going to clean out. And I'll show you guys. What do you mean? Why is it sticky? Do you mean when I poured that out, why is it sticky? Is that what you mean by that? Sorry, I'm just now seeing it. You can tell your new room, it sounds different. Like, it is, because I'm not, like, stuck in that little corner anymore. So, our dish is clean, outside and in. Boom. Set that guy there. These need cleaned. What you need to make sure is you need to make sure you clean all your utensils after you create your acrylics. You need to clean them with hot soapy water, disinfect them with your alcohol and stuff too. So that all needs to be washed. And this needs to be washed. Okay, I'm gonna move this and then I'll show you guys all the colors. And then that'll be it for today. But we're gonna be making some, pretty sure we're gonna be making some pastel colors. So, which I'm excited for. And every time I use a plastic bag like this. This bag helps keep the smell of your monomer inside this plastic bag. And then I put that wrapped up like this inside of a trash bag. And that helps keep the smell down until I can take it to the thingy. So it helps keep that smell out of your room. Alright, there's that. Alright, let me turn my lights out so I can show you the glow, everybody. Okay, you ready? I'm going to turn my big thing off here. Oh shit, I didn't even know that was glow glitter. Okay, so it did glow. As you can see, it is glowing a little bit. This is the black one. This is the other one here. And then I guess we have, I didn't realize that I put glow glitter inside the chunky one that we did. So, had no idea. So these are the colors that we made. I love this one. Looks so different in person though. Let me turn on the actual so this is what it looks like with the flash on, guys. And this is the black. And the black does glow a little tiny bit. But these are the colors that we did. So we did every single pigment besides your neons. So I hope that you guys learned a lot. I hope that if you guys have any more questions, please let me know in the comments. Because I will be able to let you guys know more information in the comment section. As well, if you guys do have questions. So make sure you go to the beginning and, you know, let me know what your thoughts are. And if you want to see, if you want to have the other mix-a-lot sessions like I normally do, those are what people know me for. Let me know if we want to, let me know what type of colors you guys want to see and all those good things. But this is quite a different adventure we did today. But I'm happy you guys are here. This nail tutorial, this type of tutorial, how to make your own custom glitter acrylics at home, I hope does serve you, and it does save you money, because it does save you money in the long run, especially not being able to buy certain colors that you need, right? So, and you can put your glitters to use, so, and your eyeshadows to use. But please show your lipstick collection. I don't have a lipstick collection. I don't wear makeup. I just do nails. So with that being said, what would that look like? I'm not sure. If you want me to mix you colors or you want these certain colors, please DM me on my IG. Please mix a lot. I want to see red and black and purple. Okay, we can do that. I'll probably put a poll up just so you guys, just so we can kind of get an idea of what everybody wants to see and watch and all of that. But thanks for coming to hang out with me on this Tuesday night, or this Tuesday day. We will be live again this week, but yeah, I hope you all learned a lot. And shout out to my members, and also shout out to all of my subscribers. You guys are amazing. Make sure you like and subscribe. All of the beautiful things. Hype this live because I feel like this could help so many people. And it's just not being pushed out, which is fine. But I hope that, you know, you guys tell your friends. Alright guys, I'm going to go. I love you all. And I will see you on the flip side. Bye. Have an amazing night. Sending you peace and love always. Toodaloo. Thanks for hanging with me, everybody. You are the best.